YouTube world. I wanted to get on here and basically this morning before I go to class and kind of explain some of my experiences thus far living in Atlanta, Georgia. For some reason I had tried to upload a video like this about the same topic last night, but to my I guess someone or something, some entity does not want me to upload this for some particular reason, but oh well, I'm still gonna try again. So anyways, this is basically talking about my experiences living in Atlanta, Georgia thus far. I must say it's been a interesting learning experience here. And literally you'll see something or have something crazy or interesting happen every day you're here. So so get on with it. Let me first say the driving in Atlanta is terrible. People, I wonder how they got their license driving here. Like, it's like someone just magically, they just said, you guys all pass, you all pass. Like, oh bro, you know, you get a car, you get a license, you get a license, you get a license. It's like, how, you know, anyone can get a license here. And some of the people who drive, it's like beyond me. It's like, you know, they'll zigzag in traffic where you're clearly going nowhere. And then when they feel like they're getting up ahead, they're in the same place. And it's like, really, you're doing all that just to be in the same place? You're going nowhere. And then the ones that speed and try to cut you over to get over to the next lane, driving all types of crazy behind you, tailgating you and all that stuff. They get behind, then they want to drive. 9 out of 10, those usually the ones because they get pulled over fast. And I look at them when I pass them and they're pulled over. It's like, instant car, but that's what your dumbass gets. But, yeah, that seems to be the majority of stupidity when it comes to the roads out here. Second, customer service. Oh, before I get into customer service, I also have to mention when it came to driving, I have never been in a car accident, even back at home in California, where we know it can get crazy, especially when you're driving in San Francisco, many parts of the Bay Area. But I've gotten to 2 car accidents because of how stupid the roads are, the winding roads here. The second time because someone was arguing with their daughter and didn't pay attention, and it was my right of way to go. So literally you have to be careful with these drivers here. That's the honest opinion. Customer service. Oh, I cannot stress customer service here. Customer service is so terrible. It's like in the gutter. What's customer service? There's not even a specific. There's no standard to customer service here. It's like, you know, service without customer, the customer without the service. It's like there's no 2 and 2 together. It's just get what you. And the bad part is, you know, you're getting a product here, and sometimes you're wondering why are you being charged so much for something so stupid. It's like you know, I've never had to experience getting something simple as like getting registration done for my car here at DDS. That's what they call it here. It's not DMV, DDS. And you have to pay like a air quality fee thing, one-time fee, but they expect you to pay out of pocket hundreds and hundreds of dollars depending on your car. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I feel like you shouldn't have to pay for here, or especially not that extreme like that in Georgia, where I would get away with not paying back at home, but they are clearly extorting these people out here, including me because I have to drive here. But anyways, it's not just that. There's other services here at this state that they just ridiculously charge you everything for. So that leads me to believe this is a money-hungry state. Of course, it's a Republican blue line, blue belt, whatever state. But it's blue, I guess. Blue or red. I don't know. But anyways, it's a Republican state, which is different from a liberal. But I'm not getting into politics. I'm not into politics like that. But that was a major difference coming here. But it just makes sense. Georgia's like they're. I thought they were hungry, but they're clearly starving here. But another thing. What else? Yeah, with the customer service, my experience with customer service entirely too as well is I'll give you the example. When I went to a grocery store, they have a Publix and a Kroger. I went to the Publix, and the Publix when I was standing in line, I was supposed to get a money order for my rent. And I actually have rent due today, so I probably have to do something like that. But I'm not going to go to those places. I refuse to go to these places. But anyways, I had to get a money order and stand in line, and I literally seen where two coworkers were talking to each other. One was talking on the phone, where I can assume it was not someone of business relations or anything having to do with the job at hand. And then getting to the customer, I have never seen something as blatantly unprofessional as that. I'm like, what kind of standard? If we're in the United States and you have a specific standard somewhere, do you expect it to be everywhere? Unless you're in a third world country or another country, or where they just simply don't, a land they don't give it down. And that's what I thought I was, the land that didn't give it down. And then the same thing with the Kroger. Actually, the demographic there was, I'm not going to lie, and I'm going to be as brutally as possible, a lot of them were honest working people, and a lot of them, were day-to-day grinders and people there. But I had experience with a trashy hood booger behind me. Well, the fool wasn't even in line when I showed up to get into the line. I clearly asked the people who looked like they were in line but were having a conversation, who politely told me no, they weren't in line. And these people happened to be with this hood booger that was outside the line filling out something, I guess to process it at the customer service. So I asked, are you in line? Are these people in line, who are clearly look like they're in line? They say no, but this guy says, oh, I'm in line. But I'm like, you're not even in line. So what's going on? I'm thinking in my head, you're not even in line. You're processing something, and you expect me to, wait for you to magically appear in the line? I'm finna go in the line. Like, I don't have time for that. I'm gonna go in the line. So I happened to be at this place. This was at a Kroger's, because I made the mistake of signing the back of this money order. I don't really deal with money orders like that, and this is like one of my first times. But I signed it on the back, but the last time I didn't sign it, so I don't know what happened. But I just signed it, and I wasn't supposed to sign it, so I had to cash it out. So I'm in line, and this guy's like, so you just cut people? You just cut people? And, he made some idle threat talking about, well, we don't have to go there because it could end really bad for you. I'm like, you know what? It could end really bad for you. I said, as far as I'm concerned, you weren't in line. You were filling out something. So how am you expect me to magically let you in, wait for you to finish what you're doing? I don't think so. So this fool was on some other type of stuff. As this fool was blatantly talking, I said, you can keep talking, but you ain't gonna do nothing at the end of the day. And he didn't. He wouldn't pop off. He wouldn't do none of that. None but talk. Little punk. I'm doing what I gotta do. So anyways, I get to this so-called customer service lady that's supposed to be helping me, and out from the back, she is approaching me as if, with this money order, as if I'm automatically suspect or criminal because it's signed. But I explained to her what I want to do. I want to cash in, and this is me. And as far as you have my ID, we don't have to keep going through this revolving explanation of why I'm trying to do. Listen, if I have my ID and I show you this is the person who signed it and I'm the one, it shows on the money order who purchased it and to what credentials you can get the account and everything from, and you can clearly see that it was me. So this lady, as I'm authorizing, we're going through this money order, I'm authorizing it, and she prompts me to the pad for the card for me to swipe it. Mind you, she didn't ask me. I didn't find until later that she wound up taking the fee to process it from the money order, which I didn't want in the first place. And then I had to explain to her after. I was like, "What? Wait, why you only gave me, such and such change, 218 back? Like I wanted 223, you know." And she was like, "Well, you didn't tell me that." I said, "Well, you didn't ask me that. You expect me to know, you know." I just don't get it. They don't ask you questions. And then, as she's authorizing the pad, she basically was like waiting for me, but the pad wasn't even functioning on my end. So the lady raises her voice and is like, "We're waiting on you. I'm waiting on you." Da, da, da. And I'm like, "Excuse me, hold up, pump your brakes. Your thing is not prompting this thing." And she's like, da, da, da. Then she takes her time looking at me, and I had to take a picture the second time to show her what I was talking. I mean, it was just ridiculous. It was like dealing with, like I was at in a comedy skit of Bon Qui Qui, or some type of ridiculous spoof movie, or part of Punked or something. Like I didn't understand. I was just like, this is some surreal, out of this world stuff. Nothing as crazy and ratchet as this has never happened to me. I never came across such stupidity and blatantly just disrespect or anything like that. So afterwards, I had to explain. I had to call her supervisor, call corporate, and I exploded and really had to, basically let her ass have it and complain about her ass because I don't play that. So I'll do that in a heartbeat. If you have terrible customer service, I'm that one. Don't mess with me. But anyways, that's that. Oh, it's just terrible customer service. Just everywhere. It just seems like everywhere I've dealt with, there's been bad in specific places, especially specific places in certain areas. I mean, what do you expect? But anyways, the hotness here is just unbelievable as well. It could be 80 and it'll be amplified like 10 more degrees. Same 90, 100, 100. I mean, I remember driving and cutting my air off for 1 minute, pulling down the windows automatically. In that same minute, water's trickling down my pant leg. I mean, it's just unbelievably hot here and humid. But the good thing about it is that it does so well for the skin. I mean, pores is closed, even skin tone, the melanin is popping. I mean, that's one of the best things you can get out of living here with this humidity. But another thing is with the everybody, it just seems like everybody has, when I've talked to a lot of people who said they haven't there's been a lot of people who don't graduate past 3rd grade, 4th grade out here, and that leads me to believe that the education here, when I get at Georgia State, is okay, but there's a lot of stuff, so far some of the classes I've already learned back when I was back at home, so it's like, it's repetitive, and that leads me to believe that's why, I don't know, there's a lot of people who don't want to think, I don't know, but there seems to tend to be a lot of complacency here. People are too comfortable in the way that they're living here and being treated here. It's like ridiculous. No one should put up with such retarded services at times. No one should have to put up with terrible working conditions. I went to a mail post office where there was no air conditioning. People are working in humidity. It's ridiculous. These people are working in humidity. It should be code. That should be a code regulation or some type of fence to be working under a condition where there's no air conditioning, is blatantly hot as hell. And then people deal with it. And there's, I mean, you would think there's people coming up from other states, which, you know, I don't know, it's because there's a lot of crime here. But I'm not going to blame the other states. But I would definitely say that it's very sketchy as far as a lot of sketchy people here. And you just really have to be on your guard of who you put in your circles, who you could trust. And there's also there's this hidden notion of people being overtly nosy. They want to know what you do and all this stuff. They ask questions, and people can use that to kind of manipulate and twist it, especially if you're working with someone. They'll use it against you to get ahead, and there's like this twisted, stab in the back, jealousy, like messiness going on with a lot of these people here. I had a landlord that was crazy as hell. She was from the islands, and she would play Christmas music. And this was in August and July, and yeah, I wonder if it's the water. That's why I don't drink the water here. I get bottled water and get some other type of water, but there's a lot of crazy people here. And then there's a lot of dirty people. That comes with the complacency and some of the stuff. They're willing to deal with being dirty and the dirtiness and some of the bad buildings here. I've seen literally people's houses where they have like the roaches run free. It's just disgusting. I've never heard of anything like that until I came here, and their standards, some of the standards of living is just crazy. Oh my gosh. I can't. But with all that too, what I've noticed is that how it's different. It's a lot more. I've noticed it's a lot more or unorganized. A lot of facilities I've went to, Georgia State is really unorganized a lot of the time, because since I've been here, I've been going through revolving doors when looking for something simple as a office of registration or something like that. And I literally had, over the break, when I came here for orientation for the fall, I literally had one facility tell me to go one place. They told me to go to another place, and then I wind up at the same place I went to originally. It's like no one is on the same page. They change things every semester instead of keeping it the same. So that's why there's all this confusion. But, I mean, with that, all the stuff I've talked about, there's good and there's bad. But the good thing, I'm going to end off with the good. At least, you know, there's a lot of beautiful nature type of habitats here. There's a lot of trees, and the other night I almost hit a deer, but thank God I did it. But there are a lot of wildlife and deer, and beautiful trees, and you'll find a lot of nice hidden paths where there's rivers. So yeah, that's basically sums it up for my experiences living out here. And you know, I want to encourage you to stay true to yourself, stay true to thyself. Stay positive. Know who you cannot have around you in your circle. Have motivating people. Be on your grind here. And that will also save a lot from the BS and the BS people. The usury too is really real as well. I've heard a lot of stories. You know, I'm real quick to get away from situations like that, and you know, I'm as real 100% as possible. I'd rather avoid shit like that than go through what other people went through. I've literally heard people sleeping with people for advantages here. It's crazy, but it's also very kind of playing Russian roulette with your health too, with all these sexual transmitted diseases. And I heard there's a really high peak of HIV here. So yeah, but anyways, hope everyone's doing good, and I'll stay posted. Checking out. LH.